Beyond Good and Evil was considered one of the most memorable hidden gems of its time. Similar to something like Okami, it was one of those classic action-adventure games of the PS2 era, which did not set the charts on fire, but slowly became a cult hit thanks to dedicated fans. Which made the seemingly endless development hell of announcing, cancelling and re-announcing a sequel, including a tearful press conference finale, all the more irritating. And for some people that might have raised the question why the desire for a sequel was so high to begin with. Which is exactly why this video is gonna clarify how even new games should learn a thing or two from Beyond Good and Evil when it comes to tight level design and world building. Now, on the surface, Beyond Good and Evil looks like your typical PS2 era clone of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Which means, along a linear storyline, players explore a small overworld which houses puzzle-heavy dungeons, boss fights, NPCs to help out, abilities to unlock, minigames, and so on. But instead of sword and shields, protagonist Jade resorts to camera and pen, and occasionally a kung fu stick, turning the traditional action-adventure backdrop into a light-hearted sci-fi spy thriller. Not just on the story level, but also as a theme that runs through the entire game design. What is it about? The alien world of Hiliss is at war. Yet the governments dedicated to defeating hostile creatures known as Dorms might have been taken over in secret, and is now running a propaganda machine against its citizens. To bring these conspiracies to light is now up to Jade, a reporter living from paycheck to paycheck with a talking pig, while also both run an orphanage that needs protection. Ironically, as you travel the world with a boat, and Beyond Good and Evil coming out around the same time as Zelda Wind Waker, it could be seen as a more abstract counterpart to that game, kind of like Okami was later to Twilight Princess. But now to what made Beyond Good and Evil stand out compared to these games. The more obvious thing, the game's visual style is unapologetically French. There's really not that many games which specifically recreate the vibes of The Fifth Element or French comics, creating a very specific art style compared to your usual sci-fi game, accompanied by a wonderfully idyllic soundscape. This all makes for an atmosphere that is still very much its own thing. But more important is the game design, which underlines this mood on a gameplay level. Even though the gameplay is true to its genre, Beyond Good and Evil aims to make the playstyle within this specific frame as authentic to its setting as possible. This means that, unlike Zelda, there are no magic crystals or cursed temples to find. Instead, the MacGuffins at the end of the dungeons are things like photos of evidence of wrongdoings, which are then published in magazines. While puzzles are mostly integrated into the setting, so no treasure chests with almighty keys pop out of thin air. Instead, a password may have to be obtained from the right angle with your camera. Or power has to be diverted to get access within facilities. And dungeons themselves are more like secret headquarters and factories, while the overworld is a battlefield of propaganda where you travel through secret back alleys with codes of the resistance, and money is earned by taking pictures of the world in detail. The only weak link in blending these mechanics into the game world is the combat. Although it's not like they didn't try. According to game director Michel Ancel, the developers aimed to create situations in which Jade is acting out of self-defense, instead of wildly slashing down enemies like in your typical action-adventure or role-playing game.
And I said, okay, this is not someone can kill people, this is not the main purpose, you can defend yourself. People were a bit disturbed by but what are you going to do? Is it going to be fun?
Now, as appreciated as this approach to circumvent ludonarrative dissonance is, it really doesn't show. Ultimately, you get a lot of not so amazing button mashing and simple stealth.
Yeah, you can
she's
take a
fighting.
picture.
All the stuff about she's not fighting. She's fighting.
No, it's defense, not fight.
She just defended the life out of those jellyfish.
Anyway, Beyond Good and Evil is not a gigantic game, but it's the level of detail in its world design and mechanics all attuned to its sci-fi spy setting, which still makes the 10-hour campaign feel like a complete, well-rounded package. So the re-announcement of Beyond Good and Evil 2 as a pompous online space game was all the more baffling, not even taking into account that it became a story prequel, despite the first game closing on a cliffhanger. As an oversized MMO, it didn't quite seem to understand the appeal of the first game. To the contrary. Apparently, the creators always envisioned something much larger for the first original title. But it's not that hypothetical project that people became fans of. Intended or not, the quality of Beyond Good and Evil came from its world building and all its unique quirks on a small and more intimate scale. As developers are making game sizes bigger and bigger, finely modeled and finely tuned worlds are taking a backseat compared to giant maps, which often lack the feeling of being handcrafted. Beyond Good and Evil 1 demonstrates the art and skill required to make a small adventure feel bigger and better than some of the oversized competition.